अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वेभ्यो नमः। सर्वेषां कृते स्वागतम्। So we have covered about 34 shlokas of the 10th chapter. Today we will do the next 3 shlokas, 4 shlokas actually. Before that, I will quickly revise what we did in the last session. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandvah samasikasya cha ahamev akshayak kalo dataham vishwato mukha. Sri Bhagavan is talking about his vibhutis, and he says among the letters of the alphabet, I am the very first letter, A. He is referring to the Sanskrit alphabet. Among the different types of compound samas formation in Sanskrit, he is the dvandva samas. Then he is the time, the form of time known as the inexhaustible time, akshayak kalaha. And then he says, Dhata ham vishwato mukaha, I am the four-faced Brahma, who is the Dhata, the Vidhata for all the living beings in this universe. Mrityuhu sarvaharascha udbhavascha bhavishyatam, kirtihi shrirvakcha narinam smritir medha dhritikshama. Shri Bhagavan says, I am death, mrityu, and I am also birth, which happens in the future, which is to come after death. Again, birth happens. And in women, I am these 7 vibhutis, Kirti, Shri, Vak, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti, and Kshama. So we discussed all this in detail in the last session. So in today's session, we go to the 35th shloka of the 10th chapter. Here, Shri Bhagavan says, Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam, Gayatri Chandasamaham, Masanam Margashirshoham, Ritunam Kusumakaraha. So he covers 4 more vibhutis in this shloka. So first, Brihat Sama Tata Samnam. So he's referring to one of the melodies in the Samaveda. The Samaveda, one of the 4 Vedas that we know. So the entire Veda was divided into 4, Rig, Sama, Yajur and Atharva. So the Samaveda consists mostly of the same content as the Rig Veda. Content-wise, it is about 90% the same. The same hymns, you can say, or shlokas, which are in the Rig Veda, they are called Rik. The shloka, instead of terming them as shlokas, we term them as Rik. So those Rik, the same Rik are repeated again in the Samaveda. But what is additional in the Samaveda are melodies. You can say in simple language, tunes, different types of tunes with which those Riks can be sung. Samaveda is the Veda which is about singing in different tunes, and it is considered the basis for modern Sangeeta Shastra. Okay, both Hindustani, Carnatic. So the basic principles of Sangeet come from Samaveda. So Samaveda gives different types of melodies. They are called Saman. And among them, there is one called Brihat Sama. So Brihat Sama is mentioned here in the commentary. He says, Baladev Vidyabhushana, for example, says, Samnam Rig Akshara Rudhanam Giti Visheshanam Madhye Tvam Riddhim Havamahe. There's one particular Rig from the Rig Veda called Tvam Riddhim Havamahe. And this is a particular Rig that is sung in the praise of Indra. Ityasyam Richi Giti Vishesho Brihat Sama Tacha Atirate Prishtastotram Sarveshwaratvena Indrastuti Rupam Anyasamotkrishtvat Aham. That is, he says, among all the melodies, there is one particular melody called Brihat Sama that is sung in praise of Indra. and that is considered the most beautiful. And there's one particular rik, Tvam Riddhi Mahamahe, that is sung for Indra in this melody. And among all the melodies in Samaveda, I am that particular melody because it's the best. Excellent. And then he says, Gayatri Chandasamaham. Chandas refers to what is in English called as meter. Meter refers to a particular arrangement of syllables when composing a shloka. Okay, so in Sanskrit, there are very structured rules. There's very, detailed principles of structure, how shlokas are meant to be composed. For example, this particular shloka that we are looking at now, this is composed in a particular chandas called Anushtup chandas. Anushtup has 8 syllables in each 1/4. Okay, so each 1/4 of a shloka is called pada. For example, Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam. Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam. 8 syllables. Okay, then Gayatri Chanda Samaham. That is 8 more syllables. Then there are 2 more padas. So there are 2 halves, Purvardha and Uttarardha. Purvardha has 2 padas. Purvardha means the top half. Uttarardha means the bottom half, and each half has got 2 pada. Pada means 1/4. Pada in Sanskrit means 1/4. So each 1/4 has got 8 syllables. So totally the Anushtup Chandas has got 32 syllables. And there are some rules as to how those syllables must be placed in the 8. Okay, there is something called Guru and there's something called Laghu. Guru means heavy, Laghu means light. So heavy syllables, light syllables. There's some distinction like that. So when a poet is composing, he has to follow those rules. Otherwise, the melody in the shloka is gone. So when a talented person sings this shloka, because it's composed in proper meter, it sounds very melodious to us. If that rules are not followed, that melody will not be there. You will not find it so pleasing. Okay. And similarly, for memorizing the shloka, the structure helps in maybe in some way lodging it in the brain properly in our nervous system, so that when we recall it, it comes immediately to our mind. Okay, that's how recall of shlokas happens much easier than recall of prose. The same Sanskrit prose in sentences is not so easy to recall as shlokas are to recall. The structure helps in that. So among all the chandas there are so many different chandas, and among all of them, I am the chandas known as Gayatri. Okay, Gayatri is also used for the Gayatri mantra, which is given to a Brahmin boy when he takes his Brahmin Diksha. Right? When that Diksha is given, that is given. The Kshatriyas get a different mantra called Trishtub mantra, and the Vaishyas get Jagati, a different mantra. The Brahmins get Gayatri. So that particular chandas used there is called Gayatri chandas, and whichever shloka is composed in Gayatri chandas will have that structure. So in the Gayatri chandas, there will be only 6 syllables in one pada and 24 syllables in the entire shloka. Okay, that's how it's composed. So Gayatri Chandasamaham, Masanam Margashirshoham, Ritunam Kusumakaraha. So what is meant by Masanam Margashirshoham? Masa and Ritu. Masa refers to month and Ritu refers to season, months and seasons. So in our Indian system, there are 12 months in one calendar year. Now, probably the Western system came from that 12. I don't know. It's quite possible. So 12 lunar months in one Samvatsara. And Samvatsara is one lunar year. Now, those 12 months are each broken down into sets of 2, 2, 2, which means there are 6 seasons. 2 months together form 1 seasons. So in contrast to the Western system where they have 4 seasons, the Indian system has 6 seasons. So what are those months and seasons? Okay, the first month in the Samvatsara is called the Chaitra Mas. Chaitra Mas, it begins in March and ends in April. March, April is the Chaitra Mas. After Chaitra is Vaishakha Mas. Vaishak comes in April, May. After Vaishak is Jeshta. So that is May, June. May, June is Jeshta. Then after Jeshta is Ashada. June, July is Ashad. Then July, August. Ashad ke baad Shravan. Okay, in North India it's called Savan. Here in Jamshedpur it's called Savan, right? Shravan. Sanskrit name is Shravan. So Ashad and then Shravan. Shravan is July, August. Then August to September is called Bhadrapada. After Ashad is Bhadrapada. And after Bhadrapada, we have Ashwin. So August, September, which means September, October is Ashwin. Then after Ashwin, October, November is Kartik Mas. Okay, then November, December is Margashirsha. That's mentioned in this shloka. November, December. That month is called Margashirsha. It starts somewhere in November and ends somewhere in December. Margashirsha. After Margashirsha, December, January is called Pausha Mas. And then January to February is called Magh. In Allahabad, every year there's a Magh Mela, the coldest month of the year. And during that Magh Mela, in the month of Magh, there is something called Magh Snan. So the Babas and Sadhus who go for that Magh Mela, they go to the river, Prayag, and Prayagraj, they go and take a dip early morning, 4 o'clock. Okay. So Magh Mela in the month of Magh, January, February, the coldest month of the year. After that, February, March is called Falgun. And after Falgun, again Chaitra. That's March, April. Okay, these are the 12 months. And among the 12 months, Sri Bhagavan says, Masanam Marga Shirshoham. I am Marga Shirsha among the 12 months. And why is it so? Here, Sri Baladeva explains, Marga Shirshoham iti abhinavadhanyadi sampatya tasya anyebhya sreshtyat. So a prominent reason why he says Marga Shirshoham, because that month brings a lot of happiness to people in the country. Why? Because that is the month just after harvest. So a predominant crop in the country is today called, in today's language, called the Kharif crop. Okay, we have two major crops. One is called the Kharif and the other is called Rabi. Right? The Kharif crop is planted somewhere in June, July, during the monsoon, the beginning of the monsoon. And it is harvested sometime in October, November. So November, December is a time when all that harvest is accumulated and a lot of celebration happens. So crops like typically the dhanya, anas we say in Hindi, right? Like rice, different types of millets, jowar, bajra. So those kind of things come in that crop. So a lot of key core grains in the country are reaped in that crop. And then the next crop is planted at that time, somewhere in November, and that is reaped in March, spring season. And that is called Rabi. So Margashirsha is a month in which this Kharif crop comes. And so Shri Baladev Vidyabhushana says that is the reason why Shri Bhagavan picks that it's a lot of happiness for us. It's also a very pleasant season. After that, Shri Bhagavan talks about the Ritu. Among the Ritus, he says the best Ritu for me is Vasanta Ritu or Kusumakaraha. Kusumakaraha is another name for the Vasanta Ritu. Vasanta Ritu is the spring season. So that's the time when a lot of flowers are bloomed, spring. New flowers, especially in the northern part of India where there is cold. So the winter is gone and fresh bloom happens. So that's a beautiful time. And here, Shri Baladeva writes, Kusumakaraha vasantohamiti shita atapa abhavena. It's neither hot nor is it cold. It's a time when the Holi comes, and after Holi, the winter is over. And so it's not yet summer. Summer begins about a month later, nearly half a month to 1 month later, real summer starts. So that's a very pleasant period of time. It's neither cold, you don't have to wear warm clothes, nor do you have to wear very light clothes. In the early morning, it's very cool, good for walking. So that's a very good month. And so Sri Bhagavan says, in that season, that's the season when a lot of festivals happen. Holi happens, and then the Yugadi happens just after Holi. And after Yugadi is Ram Navami, then there is Hanuman Jayanti. So one by one, at least, these 4 festivals, they dominate. So it's a very festive season for people. And a lot of flowers bloom. So Ritunam Kusumakara, I'll also tell you the names of the 6 seasons. So like I said earlier, 2 months make 1 season. So Vasanta is a combination of Falguna Mas and Chaitra Mas. Okay, now in this year, currently the next month is going on. Vaishak is going on now. Chaitra Mas is over. Vaishak has started. So we are now in Vaishak Mas, and this is the Krishna Paksha going on of Vaishak Mas. So earlier to this, the 2 months, that was Vasanta. And now Grishma Ritu is going on. Grishma Ritu is the 2 months beginning with Vaishak and Jyeshta. Vaishak and Jyeshta together become the Grishma Ritu. And after Grishma Ritu comes the monsoon. So monsoon is also called as Varsha Ritu. Varsha. So that is beginning with April to June. So which means June to August. June to August is Varsha Ritu. So the 2 months of Ashad and Shravan, they become Varsha Ritu. So after Shravan, we have Bhadrapada and Ashwin, and they two together are the Sharad Ritu. That's called Sharad Ritu. After Sharad is Hemant Ritu. Hemant Ritu consists of Kartik and Margashirsha. And after Hemant Ritu is Shishir Ritu, the cold season, and that is Paush and Magha. After Margashirsha is Pausha, then Magha. So Paush and Magha together constitute the Shishir Ritu, and then again Vasanta Ritu will come with Falguna Mas. Okay, so Ritu Nam Kusumakaraha. Likewise, among the melodies, Sama, of the Sama Veda, I am the melody known as Brihat Sama. Among the meters used in Sanskrit shlokas, I am the Gayatri meter. Among the lunar months, I am Margashirsha. And among the seasons, I am Vasanta, spring, that is marked by a bounty of flowers. Then Sri Bhagavan says, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi, Tejas Tejasvinamaham, Jayosmi Vavasayosmi, Sattvam Sattvavatamaham. Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. Dyutam refers to the game of dice, okay, which was played in the Mahabharata, the famous game of dice which completely changed the fortune of the whole Kuru dynasty. So, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. Among those people who are inclined to cheat others, I am the game of dice. Okay, it's because that is their favorite. That game, among all games that probably existed at that time, that game was the game which could be used to cheat somebody in the best possible way. Okay, most impactful in terms of cheating, the game of dice. Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. And we know the story of how Yudhishthira was sucked into it without a choice. He was asked by somebody who is like his own father, Dhritarashtra, to come and play that game. Right? And he could not say no because his father was asking. Although he wanted to say no, he didn't want to play it. But because his father was calling, he had to do it. And he did it. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. Then Sri Bhagavan says, Tejas Tejasvinamaham. So Tejas is a word in Sanskrit that doesn't have a exact English translation because it's a construct. It's composed of multiple dimensions. It includes things like physical strength, a person's charisma, a person's noble nature, nobility, a person's sense of dignity, a person's ability to influence others by his opinion or his conduct, his character. All that put together is Tejas. Okay, so Tejas, Tejasvinamaham. Of those who have this Tejas, I am that Tejas, Sri Bhagavan says. I am the source. That Tejas represents me. Jayosmi. Among those who are victorious. So what has a victorious person got? He has obtained victory, right? So I am that victory. I am the victory of the victorious. Vevasayosmi. Jayosmi, Vevasayosmi. Vevasaya refers to effort or endeavor, sincere effort. Okay, a person who works sincerely to achieve an outcome from his duties. That kind of effort is called Vevasaya. So among those who are Vevasayis, people who are working sincerely, I am that sincere effort. I am that sincere endeavor. Vevasayosmi. Sattvam Sattvavatamaham. The word Sattva refers to substance or strength, expertise in something, strength in something. Okay, so Sattvavatam, of those who have substance in them, those who have some expertise in them, or more generally, those who have some kind of strength in them. We say that is his strength, that is his weakness. So, strength in that sense. So, I am the strength of those who have strength. Okay, so Shri Bhagavan is pointing to 5 vibhutis here. Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi, Tejas Tejasvinamaham, Jayosmi Vevasayosmi, Sattvam Sattvavatamaham. To those who cheat, I am the game of dice, Dyuta. I am the nobility, magnanimity and dignity of the noble, the magnanimous and dignified. I am victory in the victorious and sincere endeavor in those who work sincerely. And in those who are pure, strong and good, I am their purity, strength and goodness. Next, Shri Bhagavan says, Vrishninam Vasudevosmi, Pandavanam Dhananjayah, Muninam Apyaham Vyasah, Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Vrishninam Vasudevosmi. So the word Vrishnihi refers to the basic meaning of the word Vrishni here in this context refers to the king named Vrishni. There was a king in the Yadu dynasty, okay, who was ancestor of Bhagavan Krishna. So Krishna appeared in the Yadu dynasty, and he is also a descendant of Vrishni. So Yadu was the son of Devayani, a queen by name Devayani, the queen of the king Yayati. And Yayati was in this dynasty. Chandravamsha is a king, and Devayani is the daughter of Shukracharya, okay, who is also in the same shloka. So Vrishni Nam Vasudevosmi. So the Vrishnis are the people who came, their descendants then became Vasudeva. Vasudeva's son is Bhagavan Krishna. So I am Vasudeva. So now there are different interpretations to this, where Sri Baladeva, he says that Krishninam Vasudevosmi, this doesn't refer to Vasudeva here, doesn't refer to Krishna. Normally the term Vasudeva brings to mind Krishna. But here Vasudeva refers to the son of Vasudeva named Balaram. So just before Krishna, Balaram appeared there. It refers to Balaram, who is actually an avatar of Sankarshana. Sankarshana is also one of the forms of Vishnu, who appears as Anantasesha. When Vishnu appears as Mahavishnu, Sankarshana appears as Anantasesha. And so he appears as Balaram. Okay, Balaram is a incarnation of that Anantasesha. So this Vasudeva here, according to Baladeva, refers to that Balaram and not to Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna will be referring to himself, which he says is not appropriate here. He is listing his vibhutis and he is not referring to himself. He is referring to his own vibhutis in different appearances. Therefore, he is referring to Balaram. Okay, that's the logic that Baladeva uses. And Vishwanath Chakravarti also uses a similar logic. And then he says, so then there is another meaning given by Madhvacharya, one of the great scholars. And Madhvacharya's descendant, or rather follower, Jayatirtha, was also a great scholar in the Madhva line. So he says here Vasudeva refers to Vishnu, whose property of covering everything. He pervades everything. Everything resides in him. Vasati. Okay, so Vasudeva, one who is the god of, the god who occupies everything, who resides in everything, and in whom everything else resides. So this is what the word Vasudeva means. So there have been multiple ways of interpreting this word. Among the Vrishnis, I am Vishnu, or I am Balaram, or something else. So basically, Vasudeva refers to some form of Vishnu in some manifestation. Vrishninam, in the dynasty of Vrishni, the king named as Vrishni. Another meaning of the word Vrishni, the dictionary meaning, is also somebody who is very passionate, energetic to do something, committed to do something. Okay, so you can also interpret this as among those who are very passionate about whatever they are doing. I'm Vasudeva. I'm very passionate. Pandavanam Dhananjaya. Among the 5 Pandavas, I am you, Arjuna. I'm Arjuna. I'm Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is another name for Arjuna. So why Arjuna among them? Because Arjuna actually is the most intimate to Krishna among them. He is actually an incarnation of the sage known as Nara. So one of the avatars of Vishnu is a combination of a Jivatma and himself. He comes as Narayana, and the Jivatma comes as Nara, a sage called Nara. And these two, Nara and Narayana, appear as the twin sons of a great sage called Dharma. And they live in Badrikashram, okay, in some place in Badrikashram where they are not visible to us. They're living behind that place which we visit as Badrinath, somewhere in the hills. So there is their ashram. So that same Nara appears as Arjuna when Narayana comes as Krishna. So Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninamapyaham Vyasaha. Among the great munis, the great thinkers, the great sages, I am Vyasa. Vyasa is the person who has written the Mahabharata and the person who has written, Vyastaha, Vedaha, Vyastaha Yenasaha. That's how he gets the name Vyasa. Okay, original name is Krishna Dvaipayana because he was born on a dweepa, on an island, and he was dark in complexion. So he was named as Krishna Dvaipayana. But because of this activity of dividing the Vedas into 4 parts, he came to be known as Vedavyasa. So Muni Namapyaham Vyasaha Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. So Ushana refers to Shukracharya, Ushanas. So Kavi refers to a philosopher, a deep thinker, person who is philosophical, person who is very intellectually advanced, who is sophisticated. So Ushana Kavi, one of the sons of Bhrigu, Maharishi Bhrigu. Okay, earlier in one of the shlokas in the 10th chapter itself, Maharshinam Bhriguraham, it came, right? So now that same Bhrigu's son, one of his sons was Shukracharya, and Shukracharya is also called Bhargava. And Shukracharya turned out to be the guru of the Asuras. He's intelligent, but he's also the guru of the Asuras. He's a Brahmana. So his Brahmanatva, see, one of the qualities of a genuine Brahmana, a person who's genuinely a Brahmana, is that he will be willing to teach anybody who sincerely approaches him for knowledge and who has the adhikar to learn. Okay, so when somebody comes to him with that qualification that he is able to learn, he's capable of learning, and he is sincere, he wants to learn, he wants to do seva and learn, then that Brahmana will teach him regardless of who he is, regardless of his parentage or his background, and with what higher intention he's coming. Okay, so we know the story of Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna, who is the son of Drupada and the brother of Draupadi. Okay, he goes to, whom does he go to? Dronacharya. He goes to Dronacharya, and why has he been, begotten? Why has he taken birth? Because his father Drupada prayed for a son who will be able to take revenge, who will help him to take revenge on Dronacharya, to become the cause of the death of Dronacharya. So Drishtadyumna takes birth. And Drishtadyumna is sent to Dronacharya to learn the art of Dhanurvidya so that he can then fight with Dronacharya and kill him one day. And Dronacharya knows that. But still, when Drishtadyumna comes to him, he accepts him. That is his greatness as a Brahmana. That is his Brahmanatva. It shows that as a Brahmana, he doesn't discriminate. He has eligibility, just like we say in an institution like XLRI, institution of national importance, or institution that has got a prestige. We don't distinguish. When we admit, if that person meets certain admission eligibility in terms of their background, their academic background, not their communal background, or really, we don't look at that. We just look at their academic background, and if they meet all their academic requirements and they perform sufficiently well in the interview, they are given admission to XLRI. Right? In the same way, a Brahmana doesn't look at anything other than their qualification and their sincerity, and he admits them. So the same thing happened in the life of Shukracharya too. There's a story how the son of Brihaspati. Okay, see, the Brihaspati is the guru of the Devas, and Shukracharya is the guru of the Asuras, right? So there is a story that Shukracharya, he obtained a mantra called the Mrita Sanjeevani mantra. The Mrita Sanjeevani mantra was given to him by Shiva, Bhagavan Shiva, because of some tapasya he performed. And that mantra has so much power that somebody who has passed away, he can be revived. He can be brought back to life. Okay, so which became a big thing for him, because when the Asuras and Devas fight, the Asuras kill the Devas and Devas kill the Asuras. So Shukracharya could recite that mantra and bring the Asuras back to life. And the Devas were at a disadvantage. The Asuras had a competitive advantage over the Devas now. So it was decided that now we should somehow get hold of that mantra. So after discussion, deliberation, the son of Brihaspati, named Kacha was given the responsibility that you go to him as a disciple. Because if Brihaspati goes, Brihaspati cannot go. He's of the same status. He can't go and say, please give me the mantra. Doesn't make sense. So, but a person acting as a disciple can go and learn from him, and the guru will not say no. So Kacha goes and he serves him, and he gets the mantra from Shukracharya, and he continues to serve him. He's gone there for a 1,000-year commitment. And in the course of doing that, a lot of things happen. So one of the things that happens is Shukracharya's daughter Devayani develops an attraction towards Kacha and wants to marry him. But he's not interested in her. Okay, he's interested only in the mantra. He's come only for that. He's focused. And he wants to go back and give the mantra to his father and the other devas. So he remains focused, he doesn't get distracted. But the asuras who are around, they don't like it. They don't like the fact that the son of the guru of the devas has come here, and our guru has given him the mantra also. What the hell? Then our competitive advantage is completely gone, and our guru doesn't realize that. So what they do is they plot that somehow before he gets back, we should eliminate him. So once he's gone to the forest to collect wood for his guru, and they catch him there, and they kill him, and they feed him to the tiger or something. So he's gone, and he doesn't come back. So in the night, Devayani, because she's actually aspiring for him. So she goes and cries to her father that he didn't come back today. So do something, bring him back. So Shukracharya uses his powers and the Mrita Sanjeevana mantra and brings him back. So he's alive and he's fine walking. The Asuras see him walking next day as if nothing happened. So they again plot, and the next time he goes somewhere after some time, they catch him again, they kill him. And this time what they do, they think of a better idea that, it's not easy to bring him back now. So they burn him, they cremate his body, they make it into ashes, and then they mix the ashes with some herbal juice, and they feed it to Shukracharya himself. Now it's not easy to bring him back because he's inside the body of Shukracharya. And if he has to come out, Shukracharya has to die, right? So now it becomes very difficult what to do. So Devayani says he's vanished again. So Shukracharya says, I know where he has gone. He's inside me now. He can't be brought back. Then she cries to her father. She says, you have to bring him back. She wants him back. So she cries. And I'm sorry, I made a mistake in my earlier part of my story. He gives the mantra now to him. So he tells his daughter that, look, if I have to bring him back, there's only one way, that I will use the mantra and bring him back, but he will explode my body. He will tear my body and come out, and I will die. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with giving my life to save his life. But then you have to make a choice. Either you will have the guy that you are in love with, or you will have your father. Which one do you want? So Devayani is now in a dilemma. She wants both. She wants her father as well as this aspirant whom she's aspiring as a boyfriend. Now she can have only one of them. Her father says what to do. So she's in a dilemma. She keeps crying. And then her father gets an idea. He says, okay, I'll solve it like this. I will give him the mantra first. I will teach him the mantra. He's inside me only. And once he learns the mantra, he will come out, and then you can ask him to revive me. And if he revives me, I'm here. I'll be back. And that happens. So he gives him the mantra, and finally he gets the mantra. And he comes out, and he revives Shukracharya also. So this is a famous tale in the life of Shukracharya, and it also shows his quality as a Brahmana, that he doesn't mind sharing his knowledge with anybody. A true Brahmana, a genuine Brahmana, shares his knowledge without reservation. Of course, to somebody who's qualified for it. So this shloka is Vrishninam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjayah Muninam Apyaham Vyasaha Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Among the Vrishnis, I am Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. Amongst the Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya, Arjuna. Among the sages, I am Vyasa. And among the scholars, I am the scholar Ushana, Shukracharya. Dando Damayatam Asmi Nitirasmi Jagishatam Maunam Chaivasmi Guhyanam Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. Dando Damayatam Asmi. So Damayat refers to the particular people who are in the action of suppressing, the activities of suppressing. Daman karna, suppress, subdue. Okay, of that, among all the methods or means of subduing, I am punishment, danda. Okay, so danda is one way of subduing amongst multiple ways. For example, you need not actually punish somebody. You can cut off something that is of access to them, the resource on which they are dependent. Okay, that will also subdue somebody. For example, somebody is dependent on electricity for some activity they are doing. You cut off their electricity, they can no longer do the activity, right? Similarly, you cut off water, or you cut off access to their computer. Okay, that's what happens in companies sometimes. when they want to do some inspection or something, they cut off access to people's computers. They conduct the inspection and then they restore access again. So, amongst all the means of subduing, I am punishment. Dandaha, punishment. Dando, damayatam asmi. Niti rasmi, jigishatam. Jigishatam. Jigisha refers to the desire to win. Jetum icha, jigisha. The desire to win, desire to be victorious in some contest, in a battle or in an exam, competitive exam, or in a sports match. In whichever type of contest, the desire to be victorious is called jigisha. Jigishatam means people who have that desire, people who are desirous of victory. Okay, so here it says Niti Rasmi Jigishatam. Niti here refers to the appropriate sense of judgment, appropriate thinking, appropriate judgment, Niti. Okay, Niti is a very broad term. Niti refers to proper thinking. Niti refers to ethics, ethical thinking in different contexts. Here it refers to appropriate judgment and action following that judgment. For those who want victory, those who are desirous of victory, I am that. If they have that, then they will win. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam. Guhyaha here refers to a person or an activity of being secretive. A person who is secretive for some reason. So, maunam, keeping silent. Keeping quiet is probably the best way to keep a secret. Right? Don't say anything about it or don't give any indication that you have the secret also with you. The word guhyaha also refers to a person who is a sadhaka. A serious sadhaka does not speak unnecessarily, speaks only what is required to be spoken and keeps quiet all the other time. Intentionally practices silence. In fact, maunam, the practice of silence, is considered an important practice in the form of yoga, in the practice of yoga. Any yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, all of them, maunam is considered important because it helps us to consolidate our thoughts and focus inside. Yoga is about focusing inside, drawing the focus inside rather than outside. So speaking, especially speaking loosely, speaking unnecessarily, is considered like leaking your energy. Our energies leak out when we speak unnecessarily. Okay. So maunam. Maunam means speaking only what is required and keeping quiet otherwise. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam. Jnanam jnanavatamaham. I am the knowledge of those who have knowledge, those who are knowledgeable. Jnanavan, Jnanavatam means it's a form of the word Jnanavat, of which the Prathama Vibhakti is Jnanavan. Jnanavan, Jnanavanto, Jnanavantaha. Jnanavatam means of those who are knowledgeable, I am their knowledge. Okay. So here the primary meaning in the context of Bhagavad-Gita refers to those who have Adhyatma Jnanam, those who have spiritual knowledge. So among those who have spiritual knowledge, I am that spiritual knowledge. So earlier he had said Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, just 2-3 shlokas back. So here Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. I am the knowledge of the knowledgeable. So the translation of this shloka, Dando Damayatam Asmi Nitirasmi Jagishatam Maunam Chaivasmi Guhyanam Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. I am the act of punishment, danda, of those who subdue, rectify or control. So damayatam also not only means subdue or suppress, but it also means those who take corrective action to bring somebody who is going on a wrong path to the correct path. Okay, there also punishment is an important method, and very often punishment is a very good method to correct somebody who is going on a wrong path. Okay, correct or control somebody. I am the correct judgment and appropriate action, niti, in those who desire victory. I am the silence, maunam, in those who are secretive or in those who stay aloof to study, contemplate, and meditate. So staying aloof and staying silent is not only important for those who are on the path of yoga, even for us who are doing our FPM doctoral study, even for us, maunam, silence is very important because we need a lot of energy to be conserved and used in our study. Right? Study, especially doctoral study, requires enormous amount of intellectual energy, a lot of thinking, planning, and that maunam, silence helps a lot. I am knowledge in those who are knowledgeable. So in this way, today we have covered 4 shlokas in which Sri Bhagavan has touched upon 17 vibhutis in all. Okay, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5, 17 vibhutis. And together with these 17 vibhutis, Sri Bhagavan completes the listing of all the vibhutis that he wanted to mention to Arjuna here. So we will now go towards the end of the 10th chapter. In the next session, we will do the last 4 shlokas of the 10th chapter, where Sri Bhagavan will tie up whatever he has said. Essentially, he will say that what is the use of knowing all this? Because my vibhutis are infinite. It is not possible to enumerate them. Only for the sake of illustrating, to give you a brief sense of what I am, I have revealed these things to you. Otherwise, there's no need to sit and memorize this. There's no need to know this. You simply have to know that I am everything. That's all. Okay, so that's what he will say in the next 4 shlokas, which we will do in the next session. Essentially, by learning this, the 10th chapter is a part of the middle set of 6 chapters. The first set of 6 chapters in the Gita, chapters 1 to 6, they are predominantly about karma yoga, yoga through action, karma. The second six chapters, chapters 7 to 12, are predominantly about bhakti yoga, and chapters 9 and 10, they come in the middle of those 6 chapters. They are the middlemost 2 chapters of the middle 6 chapters, and therefore bhakti is the core of these chapters, the core focus of this chapter also. So how is bhakti connected to vibhutis? Why do we say that Bhagavan is speaking about vibhutis and thereby he is talking about bhakti? Like I was explaining in the beginning of this chapter, Bhagavan's vibhutimatvam, his splendor, his nature, his awesome nature, is actually inspiration for many people to perform bhakti to him. It attracts people to him to do bhakti, to engage in his bhakti and develop their relationship with him. It is very similar to give you a very crude analogy, which I have also given in the past, how when we look at famous people in this world, okay, all of us have at least 1 or 2 people in our mind. If I ask you, who do you think is the best among the celebrities in this world or in our country? Okay. Now you might respond with a well-known name. Somebody might say, in my mind, Amitabh Bachchan comes first. Some people will say Amitabh Bachchan. Some people might say Sachin Tendulkar. Somebody might say Narendra Modi. Somebody might say someone else. Okay, so everybody may be able to think of at least 1 or 2 people who they think are the best celebrities. So why is that person a celebrity in your mind? If I ask this question, then the answer may come that, okay, he's got that particular quality or she's got that other quality, which very few people have. For example, somebody has got so much talent, like Sachin Tendulkar, when people talk about him, he's so talented. At the same time, he's so humble. At the same time, he's so patient. He's got so much money, but he's not arrogant at all. He's also been appointed to the Rajya Sabha. He's got so much this. So we see a combination of extraordinary qualities in one single person, and we are awed by that. And then we want to relate with that person. We become fans of that person. We develop that desire to be a fan of that person. We may join a fan club, or we may start our own fan club. We may stick posters of that person in our house. If we see that person somewhere, we may want to take a selfie with that person and maybe ask for an autograph. So this way, our attraction to that person is drawing us towards that person. We want to be with that person. If we are given an opportunity to have a relationship with that person, there would be nothing higher than that for us. And that's the basis, that kind of thinking is the basis for Sri Bhagavan to reveal his vibhutis. Sometimes people ask the question that, isn't this a form of narcissism, where somebody is simply talking about themselves, is going on praising self? Normally, if a human being does that, you would think that person is narcissistic. I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. But Sri Bhagavan is not doing it like that. He is doing it out of compassion, because he wants us to know that this is the person that you should relate with. Come to me. Essential message of Bhagavad-Gita is come to me. That's where your best happiness lies. Okay, that is the meaning of yoga. Yoga means connecting with Bhagavan, going back to him. And talking about his vibhutis is a means to inspire those for whom vibhuti is an inspiration. Okay, and majority of the people will be in this category. That is why the 10th chapter of Bhagavad-gita is a very, very important chapter. I will stop with this, and if you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to take. We can discuss.
Sir, I have multiple questions.
Sarthak, yes.
So, sir, first we talked about the mass Margashirsha. So, is it also the same month after the Chaturmas ends?
Yes. After Kartik is Margashirsha, yes.
Kartik is also a part of the Chaturmas.
Yes, yes.
Sir, also
Loudly, mask loudly so people online can hear.
sir, in the last class we talked about, or in the previous class to that,
Yeah.
there were Dvandva Samas, that is equal weightage is given to both the objects in the Samas. So, sir,
Yes.
a particular shloka which is quite common. I just wanted to know, does the word over there refer to two different entities or one entity? So the shloka goes like, Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharva swarupini avatar varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. So here Ramakrishnaya means Rama and Krishna, or one
No.
entity called Ramakrishna?
She's referring to that saintly person who lived in Bengal called Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, that particular individual. He was named Ramakrishna, right? So she is offering a prayer to him, and then she is not referring to the avatar of Vishnu, Rama and Krishna, not referring to them.
Then also we talked about Tattva in today's class somewhere. So, sir, I wanted to know the etymology of Tattva. So, is it related to Tattvamasi? Usse Tattva kahin nahi. Because Tattva is generally used for Brahma.
No, in that sutra, Tat Tvamasi, that is two different words, Tat and Tvam. They're two different words. Here the word Tattva refers to the Tadhita of the word Tat. Like ness, like in English we add the suffix ness, hotness. The property of something that is hot is hotness. So it's a property. The property of Tat is Tattva.
So, sir, when
substance.
The word Tattva, don't you also use it for, say, Brahman, say Tattva Bodh?
Yes.
So when we are using
Tat,
it for...
Tat is a word used to refer to Bhagavan or Brahma. Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, that ultimate reality, supreme being, is also referred to as Om or Tat or Sat. Om, Tat and Sat are three different words, all referring to, each of them refers to Sri Bhagavan.
But not Tattva.
Tattva is that property. Tattva, the truth. Yeah, the ness of Bhagavan, Bhagavan-ness. The property of being Tat, the essence of Tat is Tattva.
But what does Tat mean by itself? Intrinsic meaning of Tat.
That. The literal translation of the word Tat from Sanskrit to English is that.
That is Brahma. We are using it for Brahma, right?
Yeah. The supreme being, whether you call it Brahma or Paramatma or Bhagavan. Yes, the supreme being, yes, Brahma.
So also in one stroke today, we talked about Vasudev. So
Vasudevasya apatyam puman Vasudevaha.
So, sir, in the beginning we said that Sri Krishna wants to point out that if you want to think about me, think of me as the master or the lord or the best amongst those.
Yeah.
So you said that he would not refer to himself, but if we say in the lineage of Yadu dynasty, it makes most sense that okay, in the Yadus, I am Sri Krishna because he is the most illustrious. So
Baladeva feels
why we are ruling it out.
Baladeva rules it out. He says that in all the other vibhutis, he's referring to some manifestation of himself. He's trying to say that everything is a manifestation of me. But if you want to think about me, then think of the best in that class of entities.
Sri Krishna is best in
so Sri Krishna and Baladeva are the same person in two different manifestations. So it's a fine point that he's not referring to himself, he's referring to Baladeva.
But sir, in the interactions between Balaram and Sri Krishna, so Sri Krishna ka Aishwarya zyada nikalta hai, as in if there are some discussions. So the final call is taken by Sri Krishna.
Yes.
Balaram would propound some arguments, but ultimately what happens is what Sri Krishna says. So Aishwarya kiska zyada? Aishwarya is Ishwar ki property, ness, Ishwar ness. So sir, us hisab se to
so you can refer to, you can interpret like that also. So that's not wrong. So there are different interpretations different scholars have given. Baladeva liked this interpretation, so he gave it like that. So if you write a commentary in future, you can interpret it like this also.
But there could be some mistake in my opinion. So that is more likely.
Doesn't look wrong to me. It looks okay to me. So if Baladev Vidyabhushana was here, you could have discussed this with him and he would then probably. But I think it's okay. It looks okay to me.
Sir, also in the same thing, sir, Vrishinam, you said it is about the ones who have passion. So
Another meaning of the word Vrishni. Vrishnihi. Another meaning is somebody who is passionate. This is a dictionary meaning of the word Vrishnihi.
But sir, this passion is more like if I have to find out the English corresponding word. So it is passion is for say Rajas. So Rajas ke liye to we do not use Vishnu for it, right? It is generally we associate Brahmadev with it instead of Vishnu.
See, when you translate a English word, Sanskrit word to English, there could be many ways of mapping a Sanskrit word to an English word. So here the word passion means a person who is full of energy and enthusiasm to do their work. It is not necessarily Rajoguna. Rajoguna is characterized by greed, properties of greed, lust, desire to enjoy. Okay, so people in Sattva Guna, people in Rajoguna, people in Tamoguna all perform action. The word passion, English word, can be had by anybody for their work. Whether you are in Sattva Guna or Rajoguna or Tamoguna, the word passion can be used. Just because somebody has translated Rajas as passion doesn't mean passion refers to Rajas. I use the word passion here, that's all.
So, sir,
I didn't mean Rajoguna.
Okay. So, okay, sir. So also one more question on the same lines. So in the previous lokas, also there we were Sri Krishna says that okay, think about me as Ram in the of those who hold weapons. But again, there we did not directly point out to Ram. We said although here Ram
Parashurama.
but it is Parashurama.
Yes.
But why are we going through the longer route? Because Sri Ram was also very well equipped in all the.
Yeah, so many other personalities were also equipped with weapons, like Arjuna himself, for example, or Bhishma, and so many others were. But for Parashurama at that point of time was a prominent, known as a guru of various types of Shastra, and he was teaching Shastra. So he's known.
But
He's famous for that.
Rishi Vishwamitra had received.
Just like if Sri Bhagavan were to talk about cricketers today, and there was one line, among the cricketers I am, he has to fill up one, no? So probably he will pick somebody like Virat Kohli or one person who's prominent today. Then you will ask, why not that person? That person is also famous. It could be anybody. So many people are there who are very talented. He picked up one of them.
My question was that when he stated Ram, why are
Yeah.
you not taking Ram?
Yeah. So all my answer to that would be, it's a good question. That's all.
The final question.
Yes.
So
Others, I just want to make an announcement that Sarthak is asking his final question. Others, please be ready. Otherwise, Sarthak will come up with his next set of 10 questions. Okay.
So at one point, one narrative that I have heard is that when Eklavya goes to Sri Dronacharya for Shiksha, so he said no. So one
Ekalavya.
So one school says that he's not given admission because of his pedigree. They say that
Yes.
he comes from a tribal culture.
Hmm.
But then I have also heard a second narrative where he's not denied entry because of his pedigree. Rather, Dronacharya evaluates that okay, the place there where he's coming from, he'll go this place or this kingdom or this tribal region will wage a war against Hastinapur. And since I'm indebted to Hastinapur, I cannot then teach this fellow. So that is why he does not teach this. So
I'll ask Jayashree if she has an answer, because I haven't read the Ekalavya story from the original Mahabharata. My source also is the Amar Chitrakatha at this point of time. But I can read the original Mahabharata of this portion and come back to you next week. Or if Jayashree knows the answer to this already, she can tell us. Do you know?
Yeah, what is the question?
Yeah, the
what is
question,
this?
I'll repeat his question. He says, why did Dronacharya reject Ekalavya? Why didn't he accept? Because now I just said that he accepted Drishtadyumna, whom he knew was born to kill him. Despite that, he accepted him as a disciple. So why did he not accept Ekalavya? Was it because he was a tribal, or was it because he got some information that the tribals will become powerful and they'll wage a war against Hastinapur? Was it for that reason? What is the real reason that he did not accept Ekalavya? Do you know the real reason?
Okay, the reason is not given in the Mahabharatam, but the Harivamsha Purana that is an appendix to, believed to be an appendix to Mahabharatam, that has many chapters where Ekalavya is anti-Krishna. So is a he co-op, and he along with this that other Danava who fights with Krishna, he joins with them and he wages a war against Krishna. So that could be one reason why Dronacharya refused to teach Ekalavya. And also Ekalavya was the clan, they were believed to be not the type, they are Nishadas, but not the good type. In Ramayana, there is a Guha who's also a Nishada. He's a good person. He follows certain rules and he doesn't trouble others. But Ekalavya's clan was believed to be not the good type. They used to trouble people, rob people, and they had that
Like dacoits.
like dacoits. So Dronacharya was worried that Ekalavya the whole point was the knowledge should be used for the right purpose, not for the wrong purpose. That was the whole intention. So therefore he refused Ekalavya,
So
and
he won't
therefore
use
he
it
took
for.
away the thumb finger also, because he was worried that he will use it for a wrong purpose.
Yes, good. I think that answers your question, right? Okay.
Actually, sir,
Thank you.
Eklavya was the son of Senapati of Jarasandh,
Okay.
and that's why he actually was anti-Krishna, because he they usually fought with in the Sena of Jarasandh as the since his father was Senapati, so he actually fought against this Krishna.
Okay.
And this was the information that is given in the Mahabharata.
Thank you, Bharat. Thank you. Thank you.
This bad nature is more of a good convincing argument more than that anti-Krishna, because again Dronacharya himself was siding towards the party which was against Krishna, right?
Dronacharya was not anti-Krishna.
But
Like Bhishma also was not anti-Krishna, or he was not anti-dharma. They're all dharma. They're all on the side of dharma, and they all regret that they ended up on the side of the Kauravas.
even Dronacharya.
Even Dronacharya. Dronacharya, Bhishma, Kripacharya also, Kripacharya, and then Shalya, who fights on that side, who is the uncle of the two brothers, Nakula, Sahadeva. So all of them end up on the Kauravas side because of obligation, material obligation, not because of anything else. They're all on the side of the Pandavas in their heart.
So here Dronacharya does not teach him because he might create nuisance to the society. This
Yeah.
is what he.
Yeah, that's what we understand from Jayashree's answer and what Bharat also said. Yeah. Niharika?
Sir, just wanted to ask, is it while you were saying that the Brahma Dharma also means that you give knowledge to anybody either side, one thing you also mentioned is they should be qualified. So
Yeah.
can we, from Jayashri ma'am's interpretation, we can also say that probably Eklavya was not qualified, either the qualifying clan of people who should take
Yeah.
the knowledge. Maybe he was not permissible in that clan, is what I understood when Jayashri ma'am explained.
Yeah. So you can take it as that also. So even if he was not anti-Krishna, then probably because he did not have the adhikar, this concept known as adhikar in our Shastra. So a Kshatriya, for example, is an adhikari for that Dhanurvidya. Just like somebody born as a Brahmana is an adhikari for the Gayatri mantra, provided he follows certain rules, not just like that, but he should follow certain rules of living conduct. Then he becomes an adhikari. Yes. Yes, Niharika, I accept that. Nilesh, you had something to ask?
Yes, sir. Pranam, sir.
Pranam.
Sir, I just was a little bit confused that while comparing these activities or whatever is best in that domain, how come this drut or jua word comes that he Lord Bhagwan compares himself with drut?
He's just saying that in each category, whatever is the best in that category, I am a manifestation of that. Think of that.
Yeah, but here uh, uh, he's comparing to a negative word,
yeah,
negative passion.
yeah. So for in his, you see, at his level, there is no negative or positive, right? It's negative or positive for us. When I say for us, what I mean is in a material sense. At the spiritual level, he is everything. Whatever we see as negative also is a manifestation of him only.
Yeah, but most of this, let's say the nine comparison which we see, or even the previous classes also, he was mostly saying, okay, whatever is there, the best in that domain is me.
Yeah, that's the
So
idea.
this was the only thing when he says that, okay, if you are doing something bad, then the worst among the best is also me.
Yes, yes, yes. Because he is everything. That's what he wants to point out.
We also points towards that.
Yeah, Mrityu also. Yeah. Mrityu actually is not a negative. It's considered negative again in a Samanya sense. But our Shastra, our Samskriti, teaches us, trains us not to think of death as negative, Mrityu as negative. Mrityu is a stage. It's just like an exam. Just like at the end of a study, you write an exam. You don't think of the exam as a negative. You think of the exam as something challenging. An exam is something to be thought of as challenging, as something that gives some difficulty to us. It is something to be crossed over. It is something to be dealt with. But you don't think of it as derogatory, in a derogatory manner. You don't think of, or if somebody who is sincere will not think of an exam as something to be feared. An exam is not an object of fear for someone who is sincere, who is interested in studies. He is looking forward to the exam because he wants to do well. He knows that he will do well, right? And he knows that doing well in the exam is a means for him to go to the higher stage. So he's eager to write the exam. He's preparing for the exam, he's eager to write it so that after clearing the exam, he then achieves something. He goes to the next level in his life. Death is exactly like that. Death is seen like that. Death is not something to be avoided. Death is not something to be postponed. Death is not something to be insured against. So today, when we think of death, we think of insurance, we think of, of course, those things are required. I'm not saying we should not take those things, but we should know more than that. Our knowledge about death should be at a higher level. It should be at this level where the Shastra is training us. So instead of thinking of how to, stay close to a hospital, have access to best hospital facilities so that when I'm about to die, they can put me on a ventilator and extend my life by one more week. That kind of thinking is not there in our Shastra. The Shastra does not teach us how to prolong our life and avoid death by all means. Instead, it teaches us how to prepare for death. It teaches us that death is inevitable. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Anything which is born has to die. There will always be death. So if given that death will anyway come, it has to come, then prepare for death. How to prepare for death? What is the state of mind we should have in our life so that when we reach the point of death, that state of mind will take us to a better state of existence. Our state of existence will become much better than what we are right now, what we are experiencing right now. That is the training of the Shastra. And that is how our Shastra is radically different from what the Western teachings give us now at this point of time.
It is dependent on karma also, right? Suppose if I do not have good karma,
Exactly.
then I might get a bad, I mean, on a lower existence.
Yes, exactly. Just like if I don't prepare well for my exam, if I don't go to the classes, if I don't do my homework, if I don't practice my sums, if I don't listen to what the teacher is teaching in the class, then what will happen? When the exam comes, I will do badly. I'll have a substandard performance. I'll have a below average performance. I'll make cram one day before the exam, right? Which is what many of us do. So we have a substandard performance. It's exactly the same thing with death. So doing punya, following dharma is like attending classes, making notes, listening to the teacher. So live a life of dharma, then automatically you don't have to think about death. When it comes, it will take care of you. Death will automatically take you to a higher existence if whole life you have performed dharma. That's what the Shastra is saying. Depending on what kind of dharma we do, we go to that destination. It's very simple. It's very scientific, very systematic, very logical. Jayashree, you have a question to ask?
Not a question. I just wanted to add something to what Nilesh asked.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, my understanding of why Bhagavan is telling his Dyuta, among the Chalayatam, that is, among those that are considered cheating, like cheating can be of many, many types. I mean, somebody can cheat by stealing without the knowledge of that person. So many things are there. So among all of the cheating activities, he is Dyuta. Why Dyuta? Dyuta at least doesn't involve open cheating. You know, the two parties are sitting in front of each other. They are playing. There is a game of dice which is happening. So the two parties have to have sufficient intelligence to play the game of dice. So Dyuta Krida involves some intellectual activity. And because of the Dyuta Krida which the Pandavas and Kauravas played, we know only that Dyuta Krida. But there is another story which comes in the Mahabharata and other Puranas, the story of Nala. I think many of you may know. He lost everything in the Dyuta Krida, but he gained back everything by playing the Dyuta Krida again. So Bhagwan is warning us. He warns us against Dyuta Krida in the bad sense. If it is taken in a bad way, you know, gambling, that way. Otherwise, Dyuta Krida cannot be played by people who don't know anything. Like Yudhishthira, he did not know how to play. That was his weakness, and Kauravas knew about it. So they exploited Yudhishthira's weakness and they called him for the Dyuta Krida. So Dyuta Krida by itself is not, you know, bad or anything, but the way it is played is bad.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Sir, about the Kshatriyas, you said they chant a Trinshuk mantra.
Yeah.
Which is similar to like what Brahmins chant as a Gayatri mantra. Sir, can you elaborate more on the Kshatriya?
I don't know much about it. I just know the name of that mantra. Yeah.
They chant that mantra, they get power or
I don't know much about it. I don't know anything about it.
I have one question.
Yeah, Gaurav, yeah.
Guru Dharma only.
Huh?
So where you mentioned the Guru will teach, the Brahman Guru will teach.
Yeah.
But he will evaluate the qualification. And I think he also mentioned genuine interest.
Yeah, sincerity, yeah.
How would the Guru differentiate between real sincere interest and pretense interest? Like somebody who's just pretending to be interested for some ulterior motives, not actually interest, but how would the Guru decide that this student is genuinely interested?
Well, the Guru normally asks the disciple a few questions or gives him some small tasks to do. Like, for example, take the cow and bring her back after a week, take care of her and come back and then report to me. So he observes the disciple doing different things, how he speaks, what he says. And so with some time you can make out, no? Even today we can make out when we interact with somebody for some time, we can make out their nature. We can know whether the person is genuine. Usme kapatta hai ki nahi. Kapatta means kapatta simply says, manasyekam, manasyanyat, vachasyanyat. Mean a person says something with their mouth, but in their mind they are thinking of something else.
How do we observe that there is something else in their mind that they're saying something?
We know, so we know that when we interact with somebody for some time, with sometimes even while having even an interview, when we conduct an interview, by cross questioning somebody with different types of questions, you can make out from the way they're responding, their look in their eyes, etc. You can make out that something is wrong. It doesn't look genuine. But let's assume that in an interview you cannot make out for everybody, because there are people who know how to pretend also. They're very good in pretending. So going beyond an interview, but if you interact with somebody for some time, for a little while, that is why taking Diksha from a guru doesn't happen overnight. A genuine guru also, who's got substance in him, and who wants to, who is capable of giving Diksha and has given Diksha to people and is willing to give Diksha to more people. He doesn't just take somebody as disciple. If somebody comes and says, I want to become your disciple, he won't give Diksha to him immediately. He will test him for some time. He will allow him to come, interact with him, do seva. And after observing for some time, he will finally one day say that I will give you come on this day. He will observe, watch, and he will make out whether this person has that shamatha to understand what I want to teach him. So it is similar to the interviewing process, you can say. Crudely.
This is the qualification comes into the value, like whether he can understand. But genuineness can it ever be completely evaluated? Or is it just
I can agree that to sometimes, yes, you cannot make out at the time of giving Diksha. You may have a disciple who appears sincere and who does everything sincerely, but eventually turns out to be a kapati. That can happen, and that happens today. We hear of cases like that. That can happen. Yeah. That can happen. So the process has its own shortcomings, but the normal process would be this. Now, in many cases, it will work. You can make out the person is not qualified.
What does the dharma again say? After you have taken a student, you have accepted a student.
Yeah.
It means he is under the purview of your dharma.
Yeah.
Now, you have also observed that he is kapati.
Afterwards, yeah.
Yes, you have observed that afterwards. Do you stop or do you?
Yeah, the guru will stop. If the guru realizes the shishya is a kapati and he is actually cheating, he is not genuine, he is using the knowledge I am giving him to do something wrong, or he is lying to me, he is saying something to me but doing something else, then the guru will cut off connection with him. He will ask him to leave. He will tell him that this is what you have done, I don't want you anymore, please go away. Now, if the guru, if the disciple is genuine, has some genuinity in him and accepts that he has done wrong, he will then come and apologize and he will try to compensate for that. In that case, the guru may accept him again. So it all depends on case to case, how it goes. So it's possible the guru can apologize and then again, the disciple can apologize and the guru can again accept him after he, does it. Many times, saintly people are very compassionate also. Yeah, somebody had a question. In the chat, there is something. That's what happened with Karna as well. Parshuram and Karna, is it?
Yes, sir.
Talking about Kshatriya.
He had told that he is a Kshatriya and he was he is a Brahman
Brahmana.
or something.
But it turned out to be a Kshatriya.
Not a Kshatriya.
And he got cursed. What I have
Yes.
taught you will fail you at the time of
Yes. Yes. Yes.
when you
Yes.
need it most. When you most need it, it will fail you, right? Yeah. It's
Yes.
a good example, actually. Yeah. So one should never lie. In fact, many times my guru told this to me, that he said, you may sometimes in व्यवहारिक कर्मों में कभी कभी कपटता चलता है, बट गुरु के पास कभी भी कपटता मत करना. In व्यवहार sometimes we need it. It's, whether it's a very political situation, so you also should not be very naive. You should also be smart enough to show the required amount of kapatta there. But with our guru, there is no politics. There should never be politics. You're completely transparent. However embarrassing it might be, or however, and accept what the guru says. Otherwise, that person to you is not a guru. If you don't accept what the person says, then that person is not really serving the purpose of a guru to you. You're not getting that benefit, right? Good points today. Very good points. I wanted to also touch upon very quickly, how the Gita essentially, in its message, it looks like a lot of different things are spoken. It looks like it's very complex, but actually it's very simple. Yoga, essence of Gita is yoga. Yoga means connection, joining, union with Bhagavan, with God. Okay, now different people understand God in different ways. And the understanding that comes to us from the Gita, which is very straightforward understanding, is that Sri Bhagavan is a person. He's got a personality. He's got an individuality, a personality. So he's a person like us. And it's possible to have a relationship with him, a bond with him. And so in the 12th chapter, Sri Bhagavan lists, you can think of this as one of the core takeaways from the Gita, the core messages that Sri Bhagavan is giving us. He lists 34 qualities that make the yogi, or the person, the sadhaka, very dear to him, the bhakta very dear to him. And these 34 qualities are listed in these 7 shlokas. Okay, earlier once, to those who are attending my class about a year and a half back, I sent this list. And again, now if somebody wants, you can write to me. I will send you this list of qualities. Adveshta, for example, the very first quality he lists is Adveshta. Advesh means, or Dvesh means, the quality in us by which we dislike others, we hate others, we bear some anger in our mind towards others. We're angry with them, and this could happen, this anger or hatred might have come in us because that person might have insulted us for some activity, or that person might have cheated us somewhere, or stolen away something from us. So this anger might develop and we may nurture that anger, right? But that's not what it should be. Sri Bhagavan says that we should overcome that dvesh that we have should be overcome. And so Adveshta is the very first quality. Then he says Maitraha, a person who has a friendliness, who's friendly towards all. Karunaha means one who is very kind towards others. Nirmamaha, one who is not possessive. Not one who is irresponsible. See, possessiveness is different from being responsible. One should not be possessive towards anybody, including one's own family, like one's own wife or children. But one should be responsible. One should take responsibility of their life as well, if they are our family members. But one should be nirmamaha. So in this manner, you will see that, I have translated all of them into English, and I have also indicated from which commentary I took. SVC stands from the commentary of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, and SBV stands for the commentary of Sri Baladeva Vidyabhushana. So from wherever I have taken it, I have indicated that.
Can you share the screen, please?
The screen is not shared? Oh, okay. Just a minute. Okay. I'll share it in a moment. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
So I will send this to you, and we can again touch upon it in the next class. I would like you to think over this, and we can even develop scales. Now people are writing more and more papers Even recently we had a professor from IIT Bombay talking about how Indian concepts, Indian constructs, they are very distinct from the Western constructs, right? So all these things, I don't think they are in this form in the Western literature, even the religious literature, the spiritual literature in the West. There's very unique kind of knowledge here. We can actually convert these into scales also, if you want to do research with them. Scales are measurement tools used in social studies, social sciences. I'll show you later. Like you get in a survey questionnaire, no? They're called measurement scales.
What strongly disagree to strong.
So I've listed 34, and these are just in 7 shlokas, approximately 5 qualities per shloka. Very nice. And Sri Bhagavan says for each of them that somebody who has these qualities, in each shloka he says, he's very dear to me. He's very dear to me. Thereby, he's indicating that essence of Bhagavad-gita is developing those qualities inside us which make us dear to him, which attract him to us. Okay, attracting him into our life. That is the point. In the 10th chapter, he is attracting us to him. In the 12th chapter, he is telling us how we can attract him towards us. If we develop these qualities, then we become attractive to him, and that is that's the beginning of bhakti, or that is the basis for bhakti. So, what the Bhagavad Gita is teaching us is something for which we don't have to leave our job or leave our family or leave anything that we have, leave our house or our possessions and go somewhere. We only have to be wherever we are, but develop these qualities. If we develop these qualities wherever we are, then we are as good as the best among the yogis. Niharika, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Sir, a little different, distracting from the topic that we are discussing today, but I think, as advised, I've started reading some literatures. I just wanted your thoughts that we are seeing a lot of mention of a guru in all these contexts, the importance of guru and somebody guiding us through this entire process. As you just mentioned that, how can we differentiate this? We can take Sri Bhagwan along with us in our day-to-day lifestyle and so on and so forth. So this, I feel this brings a lot of, lot of chaos in our day-to-day life when we are interpreting, when we are trying to, bring it to our lives. So how does one find a guru? How does one align that energy to somebody with whom you can have this, very, very daily conversations? Because everybody has mentioned finding a guru at one point or the other.
Yeah. So there's a saying that it is Bhagavan who guides one to their guru, because the guru is a manifestation of Bhagavan. The Paramatma in the heart, he manifests as guru. And it is said that the guru guides the disciple to Bhagavan. So they both guide the disciple to each other. So when we don't yet have a guru, when we haven't yet taken diksha from a guru and we want to find a guru, then we sincerely pray to Bhagavan. We pray to Bhagavan in our heart, or we pray to Bhagavan in a temple, wherever, whichever form we see Bhagavan, we pray to him and sincerely request him, plead with him to show us the way to our guru, guide us to who our guru will be. And in the meantime, keep reading the Shastra, associating with saintly people, listening to saintly lectures, spiritual lectures, and developing your knowledge. So eventually, one day, you will know who your guru is.
Thank you, sir.
The qualities of a guru are described in many places, including the Hari Bhakti Vilas. And in one of my lectures in the future, I will cover that. It's important. A guru is somebody who is completely nishkapat, who is fully genuine, who has no intention to cheat, and who will never think of his or her disciple. A lady also can be a guru, a spiritual guru. A genuine guru will never think of their disciple as their property. Never. They will always think of their disciple as an object of their service, means to somebody whom they are serving in their path to God. That's all. They will never think somebody has come to serve me. They will never think like that. So a guru never takes seva for themselves. A guru only sees a disciple as somebody to whom they have to do seva towards taking them towards God, connecting them to God, in the process of serving their own guru, the guru's own guru. You follow? Guru is always a servant of his guru, his or her guru. That's how a guru thinks of himself. So only such a person is qualified to accept a disciple. Apart from being knowledgeable, the person also has to be very knowledgeable in the Shastra. If the person doesn't know the Shastra, then they cannot be guru. They have to know the Shastra, because only through the Shastra one can clear the doubts of a disciple. One can clear doubts and show the correct guidance, give them the correct knowledge. Without having that knowledge, one cannot be a guru. Just like we say in a business school, a professor has to at least know their subject properly. Otherwise, they can't teach. They can't be a teacher of that subject, right? You can't just appoint a human being as a professor just because he's got other good qualities. He may have a lot of other good qualities, but he should know that subject to be called a professor of that subject. It's something like that, crudely speaking. I think today we had some really good questions, and really thank you so much for joining in today and also giving me a chance to speak on this topic. Shall we close for today if there are no further questions?
Sir, I had one, but it's more on a story lines. So
Yes.
you said that Vedavyasa is an upadhi, not the name, and the name is Krishna Dvaipayana.
Vedavyas is like a title given to him. Yeah, he's referred to by that. Yeah.
You told incarnation story also, how he was incarnated in the womb of, I think, Mother
Satyavati, yes.
Parashara Rishi.
Yes.
But you also said that he was not born as a baby, rather he was born as a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
So, sir,
Or he was born and immediately he became an adult. In the sense, he did not go through the growth process that we go through. He didn't take 15 years to become like a 15-year-old.
so, sir, similar lens, so we talk about Sri Dattatreya. Now we say that Dattatreya is not his name because उनका नामकरण संस्कार नहीं हुआ था. Datta means given, Atreya मतलब अत्रि ऋषि थे. So Dattatreya is not a name. So similarly, is Krishna Dvaipayana a name, or that is also simply we are calling him Krishna Dvaipayana क्योंकि उनका भी फिर नामकरण संस्कार नहीं हुआ.
See, anything by which you address somebody becomes that person's name. So he's referred to as Krishna Dvaipayana in the Shastra. So how Mother Satyavati was calling him, addressing him, maybe if we look into the Mahabharata, the words used by her, then we will know. Or how Parashara Muni was referring to him when he called him.
Does it also become a title then? Krishna Dvaipayana also becomes a title.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
name is also in a way a title.
Yeah, maybe it does. Yeah, possibly it does. Yeah.
Dvaipayana is a very popular name in Bengal.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
there are at least two friends who have the name Dvaipayana. First name is Dvaipayana.
Many people have the name
Yeah.
Dvaipayana in Bengal.
Dvaipayana Roy was in Kharagpur.
I see. Okay. Okay. So he is saying that in Bengalis, the name Dvaipayana is not uncommon. Namkaran samskar hota hai.
My question was
Whether he had a Namakaran samskar or not. Okay.
then it also
Okay.
becomes a label if it is not.
Yeah. Good. We will see if there is some information about that.
Trivial question.
No problem. Yeah. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदगुं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततं तद्विप्रासो विपन्यवो जागृवागुंसः समिन्धते विष्णोर्यत्परमं पदं पर्याप्त्या अनन्तरायाय सर्वस्तमोतिरात्र उत्तममहद्भवति सर्वस्याप्त्यै सर्वस्य जित्यै सर्वमेव तेनाप्नोति सर्वं जयति ॐ शान्तिः 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavada. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak on this.